charge. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Who's at the wheel of the ship is drifting, but the captain's at a party. Pretoria answer the call, like it gone to sleep. Adam Gardner stand tall. In the harbor of Durban, the seal ships ride. The ANC plays a game of seek and hide. They call for the exercise in like the east wind, and point a paging and say they're the ones who sin. So I was under this, I guess at the gate. Now they say who invited them, it must have been fake. Confusion in the Union building, shadows on the wall. Now the truth gets buried in the marble hall. Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it the suit in the office or the gun in hand? Oh, that from the Congo mud to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rock start to skip a beat. No boots for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the dollar to go take a rest. And she speaks of an inquiry, a court to be won, but the days turn to weeks and the paper is torn. No answers coming down as the heavy silence, while the heroes in the bush face no rebel violence. Sent to the jungle with no wings in the sky, only 3 helicopters, how can they fly? No medevac coming when they let us to rain. Chased by the rebels, oh the pride and the pain. No uniform, no boot, no boots, oh wait, look at the budget for the big salute. P7, 2 million for retirement spree. Modern Navy is sinking beneath the sea. Not a submarine moving, not a sailor in sight, but the body lights are burning to look at Pretoria night. The chief of defense, he's a law to himself. Cap commander of the Navy puts the stay on the shelf, defying the podium, ignoring the sir, while the ghost of the fly start to wake and to stir. And what's this whisper? What's this dark news? A chairman charged with murder, and he's the one they choose. Promoted to the top, for the dockets go forward. Is this the new story that's being told? Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it Siren? Is it Langy? Cause Ronnie understand. Oh, from the Crown Hope to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rope start to skip a beat. No boost for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the tenor on the moat. In the red, the generals are dancing, the politicians are glancing, the money is vanishing, and the soldiers are wandering. Who's the boss? Siren. Who's the boss? Anki. The military's gone rogue in the sun, but parade has only just begun.
We will not allow this as the military wing of the EFF. I, Solom Zimnweba. You see, I'm giving you my name and my surname because I feel focused, calling for all white people to leave South Africa on 30 June. This is your deadline. This is your deadline. Today is Father's Day. Like your forefathers did to our people, my people, true revolutionaries will do to your people. Every white man must leave South Africa.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Wednesday, June 24th, 2026, countdown to the chaos that's likely to occur in South Africa in less than a week. From black supremacists, racists, xenophobes, Afrophobe, vile, repulsive human beings who blame others for their own failures. It's coming, folks. It is coming. I hope that people are prepared for this. Black, white, and brown South Africans. They will target anyone. South Africans will be victims in this, not just illegal foreigners, not just foreign nationals there legally. It will be others. Yeah. So there you have it. That's just one of thousands of these sort of messages appearing on social media. These people have no fear, no compunction whatsoever. They're acting with total impunity to threaten and terrorize South Africans. The South African government is doing nothing about it. I was going to criticize the Democratic Alliance for it having said nothing, but we've discovered that supposedly Jordan Hill Lewis is going to speak to the country this evening. I don't know when. Let's go to the DA's website and see if they've actually got that scheduled. Yeah, so I'm just curious. Our DA, are they up? I don't see anything yet. He was supposed to speak to the country tonight. Democratic Alliance, let's go to their website on YouTube. Scheduled for later this evening. He's going to speak at 8:30 South Africa time. So I will cover that. It's in 2 hours. Yep. He will speak to the nation in 2 hours. Well, that may be the first step that Jordan Hill Lewis takes towards being an adult and a true politician, and perhaps more specifically a leader. We'll see what he has to say. We'll see what he has to say. Work partner was helper was attacked inside her house. Yeah, I know they're coming after people regardless. Yes, June 30th will be a huge distraction. And that's why I said watch out on farms. The criminal syndicates that are terrorizing South Africans living on farms will use the 30th of June as an excuse to go after people on farms as well. So please pay attention. Well, I've done what I can to inform the U.S. government about this. I'm sure they have better resources than I do, but I have done what I can to inform the U.S. government. Yeah, it's up to them. Well, ours arose. My advice was never for people about private security because I presume most people can't afford private security. Also, I've been warning people for over 5 years to take these actions. It's a bit late to be preparing now. It's not impossible, but you say you don't have the means to prepare. Well, people have had the means for 5 years. Just like the people who come on the channel and complain, I don't have any money for a passport. Well, the U.S. government announced this program in February of last year. February to February, 12 months. February, March, April, May, June. 17 months now since President Trump announced the refugee program. Anyone who wanted to participate in it that needed a passport has had 17 months to find the money to get 300 Rand to pay for a passport. My point here is that for 5 years, people have had the opportunity to prepare. I've warned people over and over and over and over and over again over the past 5 years about the threats facing them and what they need to do to prepare. It's difficult to help people who don't want to listen. It's about looting and criminal gangsters taking control. I agree. I agree. They're using this as an excuse. Sumarie says boarding a flight to Pennsylvania in 10 minutes. Seriously? Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay, I said 600, 300, it's 600. Sorry, Michelle, I misspoke. Yeah, 600 Rand. 600 Rand. The 300 stuck in my head because it's $30. It's $30. That's why. They're only now joining the program. Well, I don't know what they waited 17 months for. Wow, congratulations, Sumarie. Well, there's one more person that's been waiting a long time. Now we need to get Loretta and a few other folks on a flight. That have been and the Cool Beans on a flight because they've been waiting a long time. Yep. And Vanessa, she's been waiting a long time too. Special Minister Leon this morning, he asked him about safety of work. He just sailed around the question. Well, it's because Leon Schreiber doesn't care about your safety. Leon Schreiber is safe. He doesn't care about you. Neff says, and me too. And you too what? On a flight in 10 minutes? Wendy, thank you all for correcting me. I misspoke. I've covered the passports endlessly over a year ago. They're 600 Rand. People tried to tell me 1,200 last year, and I corrected them for 600. I misspoke, okay? Calm down. 1440 doesn't have a job, sold some of his possessions to get the passports. That's the argument we had last year. And Yassine, also waiting since last year. It's amazing how many people still think it's for farmers. It's what I mean. It's not for farmers. There's almost no farmers here. That's just comical. All they do is ask themselves, pay attention. The press at least report that 6,600 people have come over. Do they really think that 6,600 South African farmers have fled to America? I mean, seriously. Seriously. That's just comical. Absolutely comical. Well, you heard the chilling threat by a black supremacist racist on there who has no problem giving a name. I don't know if it's really his name. I'm well aware it takes time to sorting out a person's loans and things. You don't want to be a welcher because there is a reciprocity agreement for extradition between the United States and South Africa, and SARS will come after you. Oh, I know what SARS wants to do, Leandro. I've warned people about this for 17 months. People had 17 months to prepare for this. 17 months. Yeah. Dutch, I'm okay. I'm feeling a little bit better. There you go, Michelle. Thank you for helping others. Happy Chappy says, I'm ashamed to say I was one of those that believed it was only for farms until your shirt popped up my feed and I applied immediately. Happy Chappy, don't be ashamed. You were misled by frauds. Your life was put in jeopardy by frauds in the media and the politicians in South Africa. It's not your fault that YouTube shadow bans my content and that not all South Africans see it. Imagine if all of the South Africans who watch YouTube actually saw my feed and saw my content, how many applications there would be. Just think about that. If people saw my content and watch it, how many? Instead of this few tens of thousands that actually get to see my content. Imagine just how many people would have applied for this program if they'd heard from the outset a year ago. That's not your fault, Happy Chappy. Thank you for being honest about that, but it's not your fault. Yeah. Don't be ashamed. That's what you're told. Well, I mean, how would people know any better? That's what they're told from the media. You know, it's like kids today growing up and being told that the Europeans are settlers and they're not South Africans. That's what they're told. That's what that's indoctrinated in even white kids' heads. It's insane. A 3-year-old was thrown into a crocodile enclosure? Good Lord. What the hell's going on with people in England? Happy Chappy said, you're absolutely correct. Thank you, Colonel. We've been gaslit by our own government. Yes, you have, because they're terrified that you'll leave. They don't want you there, but they don't want you to leave. Because the thing is that the refugee program is having almost no impact. So, 80 people per day or 82 people per day have been leaving South Africa for years. So 80 per day. How many is that? Let's see. 82 per day. So that's 82 South Africans times 365. We'll include Christmas in there. That's 30,000 South Africans have been leaving South Africa. And these are people with education, with the means, the capability to leave the country. And there's only 6,600 South Africans. And according to Fikile Mabulu, they're all just car guards. They're just car guards. So what does it matter? I mean, just car guards are left, right? I mean, so why does that hurt them so much? Why does that hurt their feelings so much? I mean, they're just car guards, right? Right? I mean, just car guards. What does it matter, Fikile? 6,000 car guards, what do you care?
Car guards in the USA.
What does it matter? Just a bunch of car guards, right?
From Jersey to Jersey.
How does that hurt you?
Victoria to Tennessee. Back up the bucky, man.
Don't apply again. You're... Oh, just stop right there. Do not submit a second intake questionnaire. You will find yourself in a bad situation. You've been warned. The U.S. Embassy website says do not submit your intake questionnaire a second time. You do that, just wait and see how long you have to wait. You're just causing problems for yourself.
They cross the ocean with a suitcase dream, escaping blackout nights and a failing scheme. Touchdown wide-eyed under neon glow. I mean the lights stay on all night long. From Cape Town flats to the Midwest snow. Learning fast where the cold winds blow. No more generators.
Eyes of Rose, I cannot share the full video because it's someone else's content and under permission, although this guy clearly wants people to see it.
Battling in the dark. Now every street light shining in the park. Strong percussion rolling like the train of fate. New break trek through the departure gate. People mock them back across the sea, but now they live in large in Tennessee. Fike laugh and point the finger. Just car guard, she say with vigor. Simple people hustle talk louder than pedigree. Car guards in the USA, working hard every night and day. From the bright fire to the interstate, building new dreams in another state. Car guards in the USA, one section make the whole world sway. Skip to right past the FEMA line, now they sipping sweet tea, feeling fine. They said FEMA tents would be the scene.
No FEMA tents.
Rows of canvas on the TV screen. But them stories fade when the truth arrive. South Africans out there thriving alive. Apartments first, then houses neat. Pick up trucks parked down the street. Kids in school and bills all paid. Fresh new roots begin to get laid. More mices dancing at the cookout flame. Trying hard to pronounce Chick-fil-A names. Robots now are traffic lights, not little gadgets blinking at night. Bright smoke drifting through the air. Neighbors asking what you're cooking there. Biltong words and reggae beat. Bassline rolling down the street. Backies become pickup trucks. Still complaining about bad road luck. But compared to potholes back in Josie Town, this smooth highway never let them down. Car
God's in the USA.
turning
Hey, Fikele.
struggle into better days. Laughing loud while the critics moan, making foreign places feel like home. Car
God's in the USA.
ANC tax base fade away. Every worker that depart the shore leaves another crack in the old front door. Doctors, welders, coders too. Farmers learning something new. Not everybody drove the tractor line, despite what papers try to find. Some clean cars and guarded malls. Some answered business office calls. But every one of them came to survive, and now they're watching dreams arrive. Guards in the USA, rhythm of the new great track today. From the Ville to Arkansas, still got boy rhythm in the heart. Yeah, car guards in the USA. Hear the brass band proudly play. They said the migrants wouldn't last. Now the car guards getting the last laugh. Funny thing about survival, boys.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the people who know how to hustle.
Oh yeah, car guards in the USA. What Europeans? And European being misled? Well, that's because they're fools. I've been telling them that for 30 years. Esoteric says Americans don't apply so much political pressure against this genocide regime. Nice state in America for fishing. You can find fishing all over the country. It's fine. Cobus says the U.S. doesn't want us and South Africa very much being persecuted. Being ex-South African police. I don't know what you're talking about, Cobus. There's former South African police and former South African Defense Force members who have come over as refugees. I don't know what you mean they don't want you. There are people here. Yeah, Steppies, I saw your message the first time. Quit typing it or you're going to get deleted. I'm not checking my email during my news broadcast. Well, the National Assembly is adopting impeachment rules against Cyril Ramaphosa. A complete waste of time. It's a check-the-block notion. He'll never be prosecuted for his alleged crimes. Never be prosecuted. The National Assembly debated the appropriation bill with discussions of the Presidency and Parliament's budget oversight. Yep, the National Assembly also adopted rules for impeachment process in line with the Constitutional Court ruling. On May 8th, the Constitutional Court effectively revived President Ramaphosa's impeachment over the Pala when it found the National Assembly had to refer the report of an independent panel which found that he had prima facie case to answer to an impeachment committee. And so it's back on the table and the rules have now been set. We'll see. Meanwhile, the corrupt Speaker of the Parliament, who is a party hack from the Thule House, not a genuine member of Parliament representing the people, Toko Tadizu, is coming under fire. Her refusal to oppose Ramaphosa's court bid draws fire as impeachment committee gets going. Parliament Section 89 impeachment committee used its first substantive meeting on Tuesday to criticize National Assembly Speaker Toko Didi's decision not to formally oppose President Ramaphosa's urgent court application to halt impeachment proceedings. The committee, chaired by Rise Mzansi MP Makashule Gane, received a briefing on correspondence relating to the impeachment process, considered draft terms of reference for the inquiry, and debated how an evidence leader should be appointed and made concerns about independence, conflicts of interest, and political influence. Well, if there's any ANC members that are having a vote, they're obviously influenced. Well, South Africa continues to be a major arms supplier. Surprise, surprise. Many of us thought the Paramount Group had gone bankrupt, but apparently it still exists. Africa's largest private defense company finally wins approval for an armored vehicle to serve in Ukraine's armed forces. Paramount Group, moving deeper in Ukraine's defense market with a Ukrainian-configured armored vehicle linked to its Bombe 4 platform, approved for use by the armed forces of Ukraine. Specifically adapted variant of the Bombe 4 platform developed in partnership with Paramount Greece and Ukraine's MAC hub. Designed for high-threat environments, offering top levels of protection against mines and ambushes and meets strict battlefield requirements drawn from experiences in the Russia-Ukraine war. Paramount Industries Innovation Systems Greece, the European arm of Mid-Rand headquartered defense group founded by South African entrepreneur Ivor Ikukawicz, said Ukraine's Ministry of Defense had formally codified and approved the MAC-OW, or SOVA, armored vehicle for military service. And so they'll be selling that. That's some good news for South Africa's arms industry, which needs a shot in the arm, because they're certainly not getting it from purchases by the government of South Africa. Jordan Hill Lewis calls for cool heads in response to anti-immigrant protests. He will address the nation tonight at 8:30. We'll cover that live here on the program. The temperature in the country is rising. The grass is incredibly dry and waiting for a spark. DA leader Jordan Hill Lewis warned ahead of his address to the nation tonight on planned protests against illegal immigrants. Addressing a Cape Town Press Club function, the DA leader and Cape Town mayor called for calm and urged people to reject vigilantism and violence ahead of the June 30th deadline. All of us feel the temperature rising across the country. It's incumbent upon everyone who claims to want to lead South Africa to call for very cool heads for absolutely no violence or vigilantism and mobism of any sort whatsoever. Let me tell you, the Cape Town is extremely well prepared for next week. We will not allow any illegality in our city at all. Well, not to criticize Jordan Hill Lewis, but if you're not going to allow any illegality at all, then what happens every day in the Cape Flats? I'm sorry, I just couldn't help that. While MPs are questioning what's going on, the MK party is congratulating March and March for its threats. Here we see a man being attacked with a sjambok at anti-immigrant March and March protests back in April. Some MPs warned against xenophobia and violence, urging fair treatment of immigrants. The MK party congratulated March and March and said they have not done anything wrong. They have said March and March has not done anything wrong. And here we have this idiot from Al-Jamaa. Al-Jamaa MP Imran Ismail Musa called on Leon Schreiber to issue 4-year permits for undocumented migrants without criminal records. He said refugees had not received administrative justice in South Africa. Well, Mr. Al-Jamaa MP of Parliament, you're a fool. These are not refugees. These are criminal alien invaders who illegally entered South Africa and stayed there without permission. Stop lying. They're not refugees. Simply leaving a country because you can't get a job does not make you a refugee. That is not what the job is. That's what they're claiming of white South Africans coming to America. That's why they're coming here. But that's not true either. They are escaping racial persecution. So this guy is a fool. This member of parliament from Al-Jamaa, a ridiculous party that promotes pro-Islam over everything else. Anti-Christianity party. Al-Jamaa calls on government to act against those spreading hate speech against refugees. We question as to who is really behind the xenophobic attacks and hate speech against refugees. Well, first off, they're not refugees, genius. It's wrong, and we also question who's behind it. It's an orchestrated campaign to terrorize. It's domestic terrorist. Al-Jamaa calls the country's security cluster to prepare for a response to counter the first steps of regime change in South Africa and not be fooled. Regime change. Al-Jamaa is calling for regime change in South Africa, and this is a member of parliament calling for regime change. Why is there not an arrest warrant for him right now? Why is there not an arrest warrant for this guy right now? Why is there not an arrest warrant for him? MK MP Sile Nkubane said that the Border Management Agency and the department were not assisting Malawians who wanted to return to their home country. We congratulate March and March to assist this Home Affairs who is failing to do its job. They fail our people. March and March is not xenophobic and is not doing anything wrong or illegal. They are just helping Home Affairs in its failure to do deportation and do its job properly. No. They are committing crimes. They are vigilantes. They are domestic terrorists March and March and Operation Dudela are domestic terrorists who are threatening South African citizens and legal foreigners in the country with the approval of the South African government. They are domestic terrorists. Make no mistake. They are terrorists seeking to spread terror. If they weren't terrorists, we wouldn't have seen tens of thousands of people flee the country already. More trying to flee. The hell was that? Sorry, folks, that was a phone call on Signal. Yeah, they are domestic terrorists. That's what they are, folks. That's what they are. Yeah, esoteric. I'm also agree with you. I'm tired of the worldwide framing of economic migrants as refugees. They're not refugees. Yeah, just because you cross the border doesn't make you a refugee. You don't even have to cross the border to be a refugee. No violence, no looting. Anti-migrant coalition promises peaceful protest on June 30th. The problem is that it's not about protest. See, this is suddenly morphed. Now that Ramaphosa has said that they're not going to stand for it, now that the police commissioner says they're spending 600 million rand to stop violence, they falsely claim that they're prepared for it. The domestic terrorists have taken a step back, some of them, and realized that, well, we've got a problem here. But June 30th was not a day of marches. June 30th is a threat. We heard the threat. You must leave the country by June 30th. That is the threat that they made. They threaten they will attack people if you don't leave the country by June 30th. They didn't say they're going to march on June 30th. They threatened to attack people. They threatened to attack people, folks. That's what they did. Yeah. That's what it's about. It's not about marches. See, this is a red herring. Why did the media not see this? The threat was we will come after foreigners on June 30th if you're not out of the country. They didn't say that they were going to march on June 30th. This is just a lie. Just a lie. That doesn't mean there won't be marches. More than 20 anti-migrant organizations, civil groups who are behind the looming June 30th protest have vowed there will be no violence, looting, or death. Well, there you go. All you have to do is go to this press conference at the Protea Midrand and arrest all of these people as domestic terrorists. A joint media conference in Midrand in which March and March leader Jacinta Ngobisi Zuma said that they had support of many South Africans. Operation Dudula, United South African Progressive Forces of South Africa are among 27 groups behind the protests. They aren't protests, they're threats of violence. Progressive business people, churches, traditional leaders, political parties, professionals, artists, the unemployed, the prisoners, the homeless. Who cares about the prisoners? They're criminals. And all foreign nationals who are in the country legally to stand together and fight against the hostile takeover of our country. Yeah, what you're doing is a hostile takeover of the country. It is interesting that the acting minister of police has dedicated his time to reassure foreign nationals he will protect them, but not once has he ever assured South Africans he's going to attend to their concerns. He has blatantly refused to respond to correspondence, but today he's prepared to spend $600 million against South Africans. Longway criticized South African Human Rights Commission, described it as Human Rights Commission of Foreign Nationals, no understanding experienced South Africans. You're confusing. You're confusing. The South African Human Rights Commission is a captured black supremacy organization that punishes white South Africans disproportionately. It is not a foreign organization. It is one that supports black supremacy. Wow. We note with grave concern that yesterday the Human Rights Commission organized a gossip session where South Africans are ostracized and their personal information was posted on a public platform without the Human Rights Commission's condemning this behavior. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, they're just trying to twist the law. Many questions have been asked what will happen on June 30th. The government has issued a statement saying it's going to spend $600 million as a result. It has ensured that no police officer takes leave on the 30th, but not once have they tried to engage with us. That's what this government does. It plans for the citizens against the citizens, but never concerns the very same citizens. It's interesting that when the same demonstration takes place in Europe, the government and the media refuse to refer to it as xenophobia or an act of vigilantism. But when South African citizens fight against lawlessness and try to prevent South Africa becoming a failed state, then we're called names. I'm sorry. You're murdering people. You murder Malawians. You murder Ghanaians. You murder Mozambicans, and you say that that's the rule of law. You're not fighting against lawlessness. You are lawless vigilantes. You are lawless vigilantes. If you know people that are illegal, simply turn their name over in Home Affairs. and let them deport them. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. Now, these are just dangerous people who are trying to work their way around the law, pretending that they care about South Africa. They don't care about South Africa. They care about their own self-interest. And that's what it's all about. That's what this is all about. This is a domestic terrorist in the making right here. Jacinta Nkubisi Zuma. A domestic terrorist in the making. Becoming famous, most likely rich over this. Yep. March and March leader Jacinta Nkubisi Zuma insists nationwide demonstrations are planned for June 30th will be peaceful, rejecting accusation moves promoting vigilantism. Well, you've already, your own words have, you've hung yourself in your own words. You've called for violence against foreign nationals. Your organization has called for it repeatedly. All leave is canceled for the 30th of June for the police, according to Acting Police Minister Chichela. No leave for the police. Well, they say they're prepared. More foreign nationals are scrambling to get out of the country as quick as possible. And they're not leaving because they want to leave. They're leaving because your organization has threatened to murder them. And many of them have been murdered already. Zimbabweans are now also heading out in large numbers. Scores of Zimbabwean nationals fled their homes with the threat. This is in Chatsworth. So many gathered that they hundreds gathered in Chatsworth. I've been right there in that spot, that very spot there in Chatsworth, in KZN, right there. I've been there. I was there with Karu Chiru a couple years ago. I've been to that very spot. Yep, right near the mall there. They're leaving because they fear, because you've threatened them, you've intimidated them with your domestic terrorism. Illegal immigrants have sought refuge at the Mitchell's Plains, and legal immigrants. Many of these people are legal. They're here legally in South Africa. 150 foreign nationals packed the Mitchell's Plains police station, appealing to senior police to guarantee their safety. There is no guarantee. They can't guarantee the safety of South Africans. They don't even try to guarantee the safety of white South Africans. Why, and Indians and colors? Why would they care about foreign nationals? Why would they care about foreign nationals? Well, some of these foreign nationals who are illegal say they're going to come back. You can't come back. If you've been deported, you're an undesirable immigrant for 5 years. South Africa won't let you back in. Not legally. Another arrest in the horrific kidnapping and murder of an Indian family from Durban. The Monswami family massacre. Hours after his alleged accomplices appeared in the magistrate's court in connection with the Monswami family massacre, a 24-year-old was arrested in Durban. Suspect had been on the run since April 21st when Alan Monswami, 52, his wife, Sandy, 57, their children, Kraidon, 26, and Shamaria, 20, and relatives Gonas Garan Padichi, 51, and Muniama Padichi, 78, and Mariama Hapano, 83, were abducted from their home in Newtown near Newark. They were taken to Melmoth where they were executed. Earlier on Tuesday, one of the accused, Bongumenzi Mpunguzi, who also faces a rape charge, told the court he intended to apply for bail. Oh my God. So they raped him, then murdered him. Preliminary reports indicate the domestic worker arrived at the family home the following morning and discovered that the property had been broken into while the 7 victims in the vehicle were missing. Relatives said Crichton and his fiancée Melissa had celebrated their engagement with family and friends just days before they were killed. Sick. Yep. South African companies still favor white law firms. Can you blame them? The private sector is favoring white law firms. And this report by Garth Tennyson in the Cockprot 24 doesn't even understand the obvious reason why. Because white law firms are not allowed to compete for government contracts because of racism. So they have no choice but to work in the private sector. Dumbasses. Legal Sector Charter Council Chair Christine Quanta says black legal practitioners struggle to gain access to quality legal work from the private sector. It means black attorneys and advocates are not exposed to specialized and complex legal work. National Empowerment Fund CEO Mzumwan Bantu Dayamani says he was shocked to learn that 72% of partners directors at South Africa's top 6 law firms were white. Private sector favors white law firms, denying black lawyers the specialized experience needed to advance, they say. The private sector engages in discriminatory procurement policies. It prefers to brief white law firms. Well, that's because the government practices discriminatory policies, and therefore they have no choice. Otherwise, they can't be employed. Are you that stupid? You dumbass racist? Are you that stupid? Are you that frickin' stupid? The government practices immoral, illegitimate, illegal racism against white law firms. So people have no choice but to turn to white law firms in the private sector. VR Junkie, I've already commented on that. Ask it when I'm done the news. Why are you interrupting me in the middle of the news? Please be respectful and wait till afterwards. I'll talk about that story. That's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. South African police are tightening their security as anti-migrant deadline approaches. Well, Dada Moreira gets no votes. The ANC's Joburg Council nominates 3 mayoral candidates, but not Dada Moreira. 3 nominees have made it into the mayoral candidacy list submitted to the ANC for the final determination who will be on Joburg's next mayor. Current mayor Dada Moreira was not on the list. Oh, his days are over. Interesting. Loiso Masuku, Jabu Moloketi, and Makozana Ndela secured required 50% plus 1 vote during a special meeting on June 22nd. But not Dada Moreira. He's done. Well, the counterintelligence, a counterintelligence boss has been arrested. It's not an HR matter. Interesting. IDAC boss Andrea Johnson has defended the decision to arrest crime intelligence boss Dumisani Kumalo. She's faced criticism of the arrest for the appointment of a senior officer at crime intelligence, which many have called a simple HR matter. She dismissed this, comparing the case to past experience with state capture and strategic importance of appointments. She's defended the arrest of Kumalo. So counterintelligence is in disarray, crime intelligence is in disarray, and we have terrorists threatening South Africa. Well, the New York Times' obsession with the white refugee program, which doesn't exist, continues. How President Trump turned America's refugee program into a pathway for white people. President Trump has created an exception to his refugee ban for white South Africans, reshaping a program intended for people fleeing persecution and disaster. This story by Zolan Kano-Youngs and Hamed Al-Aziz. So, of course, they take Charles Kleinhaus. I don't know why Charles keeps giving himself for these stories. So, President Trump has not turned the refugee program into a pathway for white people. In fact, President Trump has brought barely any white people to America. He's brought probably around 6,000 of the 6,600 who came here, or of the 7,000 that have come here have been white. Joe Biden brought 250,000 white people here in less than 3 years from Ukraine. So why in the world is this even a story? Joe Biden flooded this country with 300,000 Ukrainians in less than 3 years. Flooded our country. They came on temporary protected status. They're refugees. Temporary protected status for 2 years. 2022, 2023, 2024. And they're still here. Really. So why is the New York Times so obsessed with race hustling and telling lies? See, when you omit something, that's a lie. They omitted the facts here. The facts are that this isn't a white program, and they even admit it in the story. They say the State Department doesn't release data on ethnicity, which is true. So how do they know that these are all white people? Have they spoken to all 7,000 refugees come over? I know I've spoken to a hell of a lot more refugees than they have. Unbelievable. And they're also excited about this. Their feelings are hurt because Trump is writing a book. And this is an opinion piece, not a news story. Once again, the same journalist who put this story together said they're putting bags with children's books on so-called reverse racism. Well, first off, there's no such thing as reverse racism. That's fiction. It doesn't exist. Racism is racism. And he says a document defends the country's founding on the basis of slavery. This country wasn't founded on the basis of slavery. How in the world can the New York Times run a story like that? This country wasn't founded on the basis of slavery. It wasn't founded on the basis of slavery. That's a lie. Show me where in our founding documents that this country was founded on the basis of slavery. It was not founded on the basis of slavery. That's utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. We hold these truths to be self-evident. This is unbelievable, the garbage the New York Times puts out. See, this is just racism. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. These are the reasons we separated from the United Kingdom. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And it goes on and on. And they go on about the tyranny of the king. He's forbidden governors to pass laws. He's refused to pass laws for a combination of large districts of people. He's called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of the public records. He's dissolved representative houses repeatedly. He's refused for a long time to cause others to be elected. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for the purpose of obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners. He's obstructed the administration of justice. He's made justice depend on his will alone. He's erected a multitude of new offices. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He is effected to render it military independence superior to civil power. He's combined with others to subject jurisdiction to foreign jurisdiction to our Constitution, for courting large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial, for cutting off trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretend offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, for taking away our charters, for suspending our legislatures, for abdicating government here, for plundering our seas, ravaging our coast. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries, complete with the works of death, desolate. He is constrained by our fellow citizens, taken captive in the high seas. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us. There is not one statement in here signed by the 56 signatories to the Declaration of Independence which makes the basis and the reason for founding this country slavery. That is a lie. Defends the country founding is not founded on the basis of slavery. That is repulsive to say that. This country was not founded on slavery. This country was not founded on slavery. That's a lie. That's a lie. And there is the Declaration of Independence for all cogent, lucid, reasonable people to watch and read and listen to. That is the basis for it. When the United States became a country, every country in the world had slavery. To claim this country was founded on slavery is an outright lie. This country put in its constitution a path to end slavery. And every step along the way, that effort was made. We banned the importation of slaves in 1806 to take effect in 1808. No one could be brought in this country legally as a slave. We put in this country the means to end slavery, and it eventually ended. This is garbage, absolute garbage from people who run their mouths. Unbelievable. The New York Times just lies, and people buy that. This country wasn't founded on slavery. It's utter poppycock. What about the Gold Coast, Mali? What about these slave traders? Zanzibar, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, Somalia, slavers all over the continent. Another African country has banned the export of gold. Guinea has moved to ban the export of one of its most valuable products. Guinea has imposed a ban on export of unrefined gold, following a similar move by Zimbabwe regarding lithium. They're trying to promote local gold refining requires that all gold be processed in ingots within Guinea before exports. Well, good luck with that. They claim that Guinea possesses the second largest gold reserves in West Africa, but its gold leaves the country daily in a raw form to be processed, certified, and sold elsewhere. Well, that's because much of it is illegal artisanal mining. You need to deal with that. That's the answer, deal with illegal artisanal mining. Kenya signs a $1.2 billion deal with the Chinese to expand Nairobi Airport. New terminal modernization facilities plan to boost annual capacity to 22 million passengers. They just modified the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport 10-15 years ago, and they're going to expand it again. They plan to triple the annual passenger capacity to 22 million from 7.5 million. Well, while the Chinese win big there, the U.S. wins even bigger with a $62.4 billion deal with Kenya for untapped rare earth deposits. The United States secured a preliminary agreement with Kenya to access one of Africa's largest untapped rare earth and neodymium deposits valued at $62.4 billion. A big strategic win for the U.S. It's paying off. Trump's policies in Africa are paying off. Look at that. The Trumpster paying off big time. France reports that Ebola case in a doctor. So now Ebola has made its way to France. A French doctor has returned from the Congo, bringing Ebola with him. A doctor returning from a humanitarian mission in Congo has tested positive for Ebola. Isolated, and authorities are contact tracing. Well, thank God I wasn't on the flight with that guy. Well, here we go. Here we go. Here comes the Ebola scare now, as the French have allowed someone. Remember Obama, the idiot that Obama was? He blocked all flights from Africa. when there was Ebola in the Mono River region of West Africa, he blocked flights from South Africa and from Morocco and from Egypt and from Ethiopia. What a moron. What an absolute moron. The stupidity and ignorance, the complete blissful stupidity of Barack Hussein Obama blocking flights from Africa when the people coming from Africa didn't come here directly. You wouldn't have got Ebola from West Africa because there are no flights from West Africa to the U.S. All those flights that ended, Ghana and Nigeria had ceased flights years ago. Nobody had flights to the U.S. from West Africa. The people bringing Ebola were flying to Brussels and Paris and bringing it here. You dumbass Barack Hussein Obama. I can say that now. You were president then. I couldn't say I was a serving officer, but now I can tell you what a moron you were, Barack Hussein Obama, blocking flights from Africa. What a dumbass. I sat in Ethiopia laughing my ass off when this idiot made that position and he blocked flights from Africa. The guy is a dunderhead, Barack Hussein Obama. What a fool. What an absolute fool. Well, the heat wave is rocking Europe, folks. 101 degrees in Paris, 93 degrees in London. Wow. More heat wave grips as deadly omega heat wave grips Europe. Geneva, even Switzerland, 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Western Europe was in the grip of a heat wave Wednesday that shattered records, caused the deaths of dozens of people, closed schools, and knocked out electricity and wiped out poultry farms. In France, Tuesday recorded its hottest day since records began nearly 80 years ago. Authorities sought to restore electricity to the homes hit by power cuts in the northwestern region of Brittany. In Britain, on course for its hottest June day ever, Metropolitan Office Weather Service issued only the second extreme heat weather warning in history. 48 people have died in France from drowning, trying to seek respite from the heat. 2 children died trapped in a car from heat. What morons leave their children in a car? Well, oil has sunk to a lower price than it was before Trump attacked Iran. But gasoline hasn't dropped back to the price it was. U.S. crude dips below $70. It was $79 when the Iran crisis began. Now it's below $70. Wow, look at that. Oil is now below $70. Oil prices fell 4% Wednesday as tankers continued to transit the Strait of Hormuz. West Texas Intermediate futures hit a session low of $69.63. Brent crude fell to $73.83. It's the lowest level since before the U.S. and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran on February 28th. Oil is cheaper now, but what are you paying for petrol in South Africa at the pump? What are we paying for petrol at the pump? We are paying far too much. We're being gouged. We're being gouged. Now, there should be a lag between these price drops and the price at the pump, but we're being gouged. We're being gouged. The Senate has passed a resolution directing Trump to end hostilities with Iran. It carries no weight, but it is a rebuke for Trump. The Senate voted to limit President Trump's ability to conduct military operations against Iran without congressional authorization after 4 Republicans joined with Democrats in a stinging rebuke to Trump a week after he signed a memorandum of understanding with Iran. It was passed 50-48. Directs the president to remove U.S. armed forces from hostilities against Iran unless explicitly authorized by Congress, other than to defend America, an ally or partner from imminent attack. Resolution previously passed by the House is non-binding, but it marks the first time both chambers have passed the same measure to curb Trump's power. The senators are treasonous Bill Cassidy, scumbag Susan Collins, dipshit Lisa Murkowski, and traitor Rand Paul of Kentucky. Mitch McConnell missed the vote, and Dave McCormick voted against the measure. So why are we mentioning Dave McCormick? Chuck Schumer says the world will go down in history book as one of the worst foreign policies America's ever made, any country's ever made. No, Chuck, that was Iraq, and you were in favor of that. Yeah, that was Iraq, and you were in favor. Remember that, Chuck? Yeah, the Senate has rebuked President Trump to try to limit his powers, but they have no authority to do so. Congress passed a housing bill to help Americans in a rare act of bipartisanship, intruding into the private sector. This is dangerous state control. This is something that the ANC would do in South Africa. The Senate voted 85-5 in favor of the bill after the House passed it 358-32. It's aimed at increasing housing supply and lowering costs, but it doesn't do that. It artificially intrudes into the marketplace. The measure blocks institutional investors from buying more than 350 single-family homes, which lawmakers say would stop them from competing with families who are already struggling with high prices. It would also expand federal grant programs to provide money to cities for building new homes and eliminate an outdated federal construction rule to make manufacturing mobile homes less expensive. Well, here's the problem with that. Institutional investors, so if you manufacture homes, so you're not allowed to sell your own homes, the stupidity of this. This is a communist invasion into the private sector. The reason houses are expensive is because inflation in the marketplace, because of Joe Biden's uncertainty over the energy markets that raise prices. Funny how the uncertainty caused by Donald Trump has not led to inflation. They keep lying to us, telling us inflation is going up, but everything I buy is the same price that it was when Donald Trump came in office, except for gasoline. Everything else stayed the same. Strange. I'm getting things cheaper now. The reflecting pool in D.C. is a problem. Ducks are dying, and people are asking questions. The saga over the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool took a turn, as President Trump said Tuesday. 6 people have been arrested for the recent damage. The $14 million rehabilitation project has become a visceral flashpoint over law enforcement, aesthetics, and environmental concerns ahead of the country's 50th anniversary celebrations. Trump pledged to beautify the central reflecting pool ahead of the anniversary, draining its water and having the bottom painted a color he dubbed American flag blue. But since the site was restored, its water has been plagued with algae, and pieces of new coating appear to be peeling off the bottom. Well, that's because it's been vandalized, and because people have been pouring chemicals in there to foster the growth of algae and poison the ducks. And 6 of them have been arrested now. Well, the communists are taking over New York. Mamdani-backed communist America haters have won. A clean sweep from Mamdani-backed candidates in New York's Democratic primary. U.S. Congressman Dan Goldman has been defeated in New York primary election, capping a clean sweep for candidates backed by New York's Democratic Socialist moron, Zoran the Moron. Goldman was beaten by progressive challenger Brad Lander in the 10th District in a contest that laid bare the party's divisions over Israel and Gaza. Lander has accused Israel of genocide. Goldman, a 2-term incumbent, was backed by pro-Israel groups. 2 other candidates, both Democratic Socialists endorsed by Mamdani, won their primary race on Tuesday. So let's get out and vote for the Republicans. Vote for the Republicans just to keep these lunatics out of government. Yeah, Chevalier and Lander, Valdez and Lasher will win. These are 4 Democratic Socialists. Wow. Crazy. These idiots are taking over. Leftists, left and right. Well, a Soccer World Cup commentator has been removed and lost his press credentials over criticizing FIFA. Stripped of his FIFA credentials. FIFA has stripped a commentator of his World Cup credentials after an on-air expletive-laden rant against the organization and match officials during Paraguay's 1-0 victory over Turkey. Jorge Vera lost his composure live on television when Paraguay midfielder Miguel Almiron became the first player in the tournament in football history to be shown a red card for covering his mouth while speaking to an opponent. The 32-year-old obscured his mouth with his hand while speaking to Turkey's Merit Moldor, who immediately informed an official standing next to him. After a check, the video assistant referee, Almiron, was sent off at the end of the first half, with Vera calling FIFA president Gianni Infantino and referee Ivan Barton thieves and accusing them of killing football. He also used profane language. He later apologized on X, but it's too bad. His accreditation has been canceled. In the midst of my frustration over the expulsion of a player from my country and feeling that my national team was being harmed, I used offensive, unacceptable expressions against the referee, FIFA, and its authorities. He added FIFA sanction means he can no longer work on Paraguayan channels ABC, Cardinal, ABC's TV world coverage, either inside or outside the stadiums. It also extends to any type of participation or coverage related to World Cup. Sent an apology to football's governing body, questioning any rule or disagreeing with the referee decision never justifies losing control the way I did. Well, he's been removed. So FIFA doesn't like criticism. I didn't hear what he said. I don't speak Spanish anyway. Iran has been cleared to enter the U.S. 2 days prior to the match. They've been whining about this, but now they're allowed to come in 2 days before. The Iran national team can enter the United States a day earlier than they were allowed in the previous World Cup matches, according to the Department of Homeland Security. For the Iranian team's 3rd match in Seattle on June 26th, the team has been permitted to come to the U.S. 2 days before the match. The Iran team will still be required to leave the day the match ends. The overall security measures and protocol are the same. We remain committed to providing the safest tournament possible for players, staff, and fans alike. They were originally in Arizona. They moved to Tijuana just across the border. Now they'll come in 2 days ahead. But it won't make a difference. Iran still sucks. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. So good luck to them. Cape Verde. Go Cape Verde. That's who we're rooting for. Although Ghana, brilliant yesterday with a 0-0 draw. They held on against England. England, you got to wonder. Hey. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Yeah, the price of gas is getting lower. Well, that's the news for today, folks. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. Thank you to the 519 people here. Hopefully got some new subscribers. I don't know. Is that the case? Any new subscribers? Don't forget, Jordan Hill Lewis is coming on in about an hour and a half, and I will be broadcasting that as well. So, yeah, let's see. Let me take a look here and see if we got any new subscribers during this stream. See if we got anybody. You're welcome, RVC, for the news. A couple. Yeah, a couple came, not many. Anyway, thank you for subscribing. People hit the like button yet. What else we got here in the chat? Just to give you some perspective, all the unions except the police unions controlled by communist groups in America. Weird how no one that survived a communist country ever gets asked about communism. Exactly. I interviewed a young kid from Venezuela. Remember him a few years ago? I wrote back to him. He's kind of a big, I don't know if he's a bigwig now, but he's appeared on Fox News, so now he's on Fox News. He doesn't need to come on here anymore. But he never responded back to me. Turn that pool into a driving range. I don't know about that. How are you going to get the missiles to China if the ships can't get to Hawaii? Huh? Helping usually causes higher prices. The reason why student loans are high is the artificial inflation caused by guarantee. Yeah, well, no, no, Karen, I disagree with that. I had a guaranteed student loan, but you're on the right path, but that's the wrong conclusion. I had a guaranteed student loan, and education costs weren't that high in the early 1980s. I went to university. Education costs are driven higher because of the doling out of grant money to people who don't need grant money and the expansion of the student loan program, the easy credit. The student loan program was only intended for those who didn't have the means to go to university. Families that had the means weren't supposed to be getting it. And so they expanded. The government took over the program under Barack Obama. Before Barack Obama, the government student loan program was only for those who had low income. Only low income people could qualify for it. Or if you're going to medical school because of the cost of that, or something like that, then you could get it. But that was a lot of money. So low income people were the ones who qualified for it. It was guaranteed to be paid back by the government. And what would happen is that the Barack Hussein Obama corrupt government stole the program, because up until this century, the student loans were provided by private banks. My bank was with Equitable Federal Savings and Loan in Lancaster, Ohio, $2,500, 1982. Equitable Federal Savings and Loan in Lancaster, Ohio. Loan me $2,500. I went to the bank and I collected my $2,231. But it was $2,500. Yeah, because the government made profit right off the top. The government has a funding fee. The day that the loan was made to me, the government took almost $300. They took nearly 10% of the money. Nearly 10% of the money went to the federal government. That's what they did for simply guaranteeing my loan. Then I went to university. I used that money. I had less money than I needed, so I had to work because the government took their cut. And it was a 9% loan, which may not sound like much in South Africa, but here in America, students get loans at 2% in recent years. I got mine at 9%. And then I finished school, went in the Army, I got an in-service deferment. While you're in the military, you don't have to pay the loan back. So then I got back and I was in school again. I got an in-school deferment and I started paying the loan back in the late 1980s. And when I paid it back at 9%, I realized that I was paying back more interest than I was paying back the loan. So I paid it off as quick as possible. But my loan was through a private bank. Obama stole that banking program from the banks, took that business away from them, and the government now loans the money. The money comes out of our pockets, taxpayers, to give. It doesn't come from banks. It undermined the banking system. It undermined credit. It undermined the credit history of people. It's absolutely ridiculous. People are borrowing from the American people, putting us further in debt with student loans. That's what happened with the student loan program. That's what happened with the student loan program. And that's one reason why the cost of education has soared. The other reason is DEI and all this other bullshit and money spent on vanity projects. The universities know they can charge more fees because the more they charge, the higher the grants become from the government. The government increases grants every year, the amount you can get all the time. State grants, federal grants, they continually get increased. You get more money, and loans you can make more, they'll let you borrow more money. That's why they increase these prices. The inflation is outrageous. What university administrators make is sickening around this country. What they make is absolutely sickening. Many of them make more money than CEOs of successful businesses. It's sickening. Yes. How do we replenish our strategic petroleum reserve with cheaper gas prices? That doesn't make any sense, Holt. We can replenish our strategic petroleum reserve with cheaper petroleum prices. We don't put gasoline into storage. We put oil into the salt caves of Louisiana and Texas. Who is Hugo and why are you talking about refugee things? $2.50 a gallon at Chevron in Texas. It's 3 something here, but we have the second highest gas tax in the country. It has nothing to do with an election cycle. Nothing to do with an election cycle. There's an election cycle every year, Holden. Every year there's an election. No, please. And every 2 years there's a congressional election. And thank you for becoming... Hey, Brett Sessoms. Oh, my goodness. Brett's here. Hey, Brett. How's it going? 55 months. Wow. How's Brett? Karin Janssen von Rensburg, welcome to you. Oh, yeah. Paris. It's over 40 degrees in Paris. It's crazy how hot it is there. It's really hot. Yep. So we're getting some likes. Hit those like buttons, folks. An app that reports the government fails in South Africa and who the duty bearers are in total days to react. Mark Rubio asked how Char was granted refugee status. It was embarrassing to watch. I didn't see. What did he say? What did Marco Rubio say? Yeah, the administration needs some smarter people in the State Department. I'm here. I'm happy to brief J.D. Vance, and I'm happy to brief Marco Rubio. It's embarrassing. Founders would have wanted to end slavery at the beginning, but some states... Exactly correct, Tom. We would not have had a country without the 3/5 compromise. That's a fact. And then as the country expanded, we had to make further compromises to keep the country together. Eventually, it led to... It got to a point where it could no longer be held together, and we had to fight a war. And we lost 600,000 Americans fighting a war, primarily over the issue of slavery. They claimed it was state rights, but slavery was the primary... approximate cause of that. I got something in my eye here. Won't come out. Sorry about that. Oh, stuck in my eye. Hopefully it'll come out a little bit later on. A lot of people on social media feeding this propaganda. Them feeding is only making things worse for us all. Provide proof of the range demo that in the 70s and 80s that you were seeing a build-up black middle class, that the Senate not vetoed Reagan, we could have changed the ideology majority. Okay. Well, in fact, the black Americans under Trump in the first term gained more than anybody else. Oh, God bless it. Come on, get in my eye. I got it, finally. Oof. Yeah, I got it. Finally got it out. Okay. Yeah, black Americans gain more of home wealth than any other group in the country. South Africa's femicide rate is 5 times higher than the global average. Yep, that's true. 100 million brown people came in since 2000, maybe 6,000 white people. Right? Well, it wasn't 100 million. No, it wasn't 100 million. Since 2000, we probably had about 30 million people flood into this country. My video was excellent, they said. What fighter jet crash? Which one are you talking about? Never said so all the whites are unemployed, dead, or both. Okay, I didn't interrupt you. I just asked a question. Yeah, you did interrupt me by asking a question. Do you honestly expect me, VR Junkie, to remember your question from 35 minutes ago? What was your question? I don't remember what it was. You did interrupt me. You asked a question while I was reading the news. I could have ignored it, but I'm trying to address it because I'm trying to address it because I'm not used to seeing you there. What's your question, VR Junkie? Please ask it again. Please ask it again. Oh, here it is. Can I comment on the news articles going around about some black Americans suing a farmer for paying white South Africans more? It's not propaganda. It's a true story. It's not the first time this has happened. So the black farmers have been hired as contract employees. So they're paid with a 1099, independent contractors. I'm an independent contractor. When you're an independent contractor, you have to pay your income tax and you have to pay your share of the Social Security tax and Medicare and Medicaid, and you pay your employers. So you pay double. So therefore I pay my income tax, which is like 28%, and then on top of that, I pay about 18% for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I pay my 6.25%. I pay my employer's 6.25%, which makes 12.5% for Social Security. $12.50 of every $100 goes to Social Security. I have to pay that full amount. If I work for someone, they pay half, and I pay the other half. So I get more money in my pocket, in theory, but you don't. So that's that. Then you have to pay the Medicare and Medicaid portion, which comes out to about 17% when you add that 5% and 4+%. So yeah, so that's the problem. And they're also complaining that they pay them a fixed rate that hasn't changed. Well, that's because these black contract farmers are not negotiating a better rate for themselves. My rate has gone up every year, what I charge for independent contractor, and I get paid that. And if I don't get paid that, then they'll have to find someone else to do the job. But that contract's going away, so I won't have the job much longer. So yeah, it comes down to that. Now, I don't know the law or when it comes to H-2A and H-2B visas. I don't understand that law. I'm not an expert on that. But the article and the stories are talking about the fact that you can only pay the H-2A visa holders the same that you pay to your own domestic workers. I don't see how that's possible. If I hire a foreman, and I pay the foreman $14 an hour, but I hire a farmhand and pay him $10 an hour, which is what the black worker is being hired as, that's my prerogative. A foreman has more skills and experience, therefore he's being paid more. He's in demand. So I don't. So what they're trying to do is force the white farmer to pay the black contract workers the same rate that he pays for someone more experienced. So it's a true story, and it's a lawsuit, but I think it's a nuisance lawsuit. But then I'm not an expert in law, so that's just an opinion. That's not fact. Okay. And are you still here? Oh, there you are. Case, I forget, tentative if I wanted about a month wait invitation. Okay. All right. So VR Junkie, did you get that? Does that help? Then my opinion on it is it's a junk lawsuit. That's right. There was no income tax before 1913. They took a constitutional amendment to steal money from our pocket like this. Yep. Under review for 6 weeks, 7 weeks. That's nothing. Yeah, there's no renewal. You're welcome. Okay, VR Junkie. Thank you. No, what I was saying is that you asked the question when I'm doing the news. It's not a good time to ask me questions. I happen to glance over occasionally, and that one I didn't want to miss because it seemed like an important question, but I previously covered it in another stream. So please ask questions like that at the end after I do the news, is what I was getting at. Thank you. Must look into Spain, Portugal, and Italy ties the slave coast. Okay. No, don't apologize. No, you don't apologize. I apologize to you for, I didn't want you to take offense. Yep. Yeah, during the news, we try to concentrate on the news. It's a news program. Now, after the news, I chat with people. There is no Ronaldo today. Maybe tomorrow, okay? Let me look and see if he responded. Ronaldo. Yep, he hasn't responded, but he's got some meeting, so he and I will do it tomorrow then. The English did stop the slave trade. They lost sailors at sea, stopping slave ships in the United States. Blocked it. The first country in the world to end slavery wasn't an African country. What was the first country in the world to legally end slavery? Anybody know? In the modern era, what country was the first country to end slavery in the modern era? Anybody know? Anybody know? Charles Van Onselen. It wasn't the USA. Nope, wasn't the USA. Nope, wasn't the USA. Charles Van Onselen is right. It was Haiti. After they murdered 40,000 French men and women and children. Yep. It wasn't Britain. Britain didn't end slavery first. It was Haiti. It was Haiti. Yep. It was Haiti. Then Britain ended slavery. Right. Yeah, that's right. Holden, they enslaved their sailors too. Yep. Impressed them. Yep. They used a different word, but it's the same thing. Arno says he can't take offense. Who's talking about offense? Yep. Yeah, Britain came after Haiti. Haiti was the first country in the modern era to end it. Yep, that's correct. It was Haiti. Spot on. George Steinberg, thank you for the 140 Rand sticker. Appreciate it. What is going on with VR Junkie? Everybody keeps congratulating him. Get there so he can talk to my brother's illegal arrest that took place here. Very bad persecution took place. A lot of people I don't recognize here today. Thanks for joining us. So VR Junkie says he has flight details. Okay. You thought I meant real countries. Well, Haiti murdered 40,000 French men and women. They raped and beheaded and slaughtered and dismembered the French in their bloodletting. Yep. The thing about being offended is the you is offended. Huh? Hugo Klaas says, thank you for hosting us. Where did I host you at, Hugo? Brett lived in the Dominican Republic. Haiti invaded and depressed Dominicans. Yeah, no, but look at the border. Look at the Dominican Republic. It's light years better than the Haitian side of the island. The island of Hispaniola is not good. I don't know what you mean, Safado, but anyway, I appreciate the comment, but I didn't get it. The British started first. Yeah, well, that's the first modern concentration camp. I'm sure we had them in the past. They just weren't documented. Yes, Vimpy, I've already said this. You must be tuning in late. Hey, Vimpy, welcome. I said that June 30th will be used because the police will not be in rural areas at all. It will be used by syndicates to attack farms, most likely. So be prepared on your farms. Yep. Yep. I think that's going to happen. I really do think that's going to happen. So please be prepared for that. Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about area. Let's listen to more of this idiot here, what he had to say. So let's listen to what he had to say a little bit more.
Your women are welcome to stay. Your children are welcome to stay. But I need another long bone. Nina that knows what Nenzin to us. We didn't forget. We know what you did to us. We never forgot. Nelson Mandela was willing.
Nobody did anything to you, loser. He's not even 30 years old.
To let it go. But now you steal our economy. Now you make us fight each other. Now you're creating a mess in our country.
Our country. What a moronic, racist, black supremacist. It's not your country. It's South Africans' country. And no one did anything. No one's making you fight yourselves. You're just an idiot. And that's probably why he's a member of the Freedom Front Plus. Hey, Brad, how you doing? How do I feel Brent Brazell's doing? He's doing diplomatic things, I understand. As far as I know, Brent Brazell's doing fine. I don't have any reason to doubt that. Yeah, Ambassador Brazell seems to be doing fine. Although today he did do, I think, a bit of an own goal, publishing something complaining about the South African government meeting with the Iranians and meeting with the Chinese. And then people point out, well, President Trump just met with the Chinese. Yeah, that's true. And we also met with the Iranians. So it's a fair point. But, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. He's right to make the point. But social media wasn't the right place to do it. Wasn't the right place to do it. Can you please send thoughts and prayers for Jay Land and family? Elmarie, why are you mentioning that? Right, the ANC are the ones who stole the economy, not white South Africans. Yeah, Charles, he forgets everything. It's more ammo, okay. Why are you guys asking about Jay Langton? 28-year-old veteran. Yeah, exactly. 28-year-old veteran of something that never happened. Yeah, the black struggle. You tried Claude. Yeah, I saw that in his pocket. That's why I turned it off. Yep. Have you written any literature on the topic of Bosnia? Well, yeah, I did. In the intelligence community, I wrote things about Bosnia, and I've been to Bosnia. Why do you ask? But nothing published. Nothing in the unclassified world. Why do you ask? Are you curious? You're adorable. You are. Why does social media allow these things? I don't know why they allow them. Okay, I haven't seen a YouTube video about Jay. That's why I'm asking. So what are they saying about Jay? That's why I'm asking. Yeah, she's not doing well. 6 months since medicals turned away from interview and steps of consulate 2 months ago because docs were short. That's odd. That's odd. Why would you be at the consulate? The consulate's not the place to go. I don't understand that. Why would you have gone to the consulate, Johan? The Trump just put companies on notice to drop oil prices. Well, it doesn't work like that, but he can do that. Most Haitians are very polite and nice Southern white people. No, the Haitians I met are not very polite. Daryl's hanging in there. Hey, Fricky, what's going on? Yeah, so that guy is just a wackadoodle, man. He's looking for trouble.
You know what you are misusing this country and this economy. Like Anglo did, using our minerals, then leaving to Canada.
They're not your minerals.
Ventures without rehabilitation.
They're not your minerals. Interloper. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a colonizer. That is a colonizer. The descendant of Goonie-speaking peoples who invaded southern Africa 1,600 years ago.
We know that you don't care about this country. We know that you're marching, you are funding March and March. We know.
March and March is being funded by white South Africans? Really? The people who are threatening to kill white South Africans are funding the people threatening to kill white South Africans? This guy's lost it.
And as in Saab, you have a deadline, 30 June. 4,000 of you already cowards ran to America. It's time for them.
So he's threatening to murder you, and then he calls you a coward because 4,000 of you gone to America. Let's hear that again. Let's hear that again. He's going to kill you on June 30th, but you're a coward because you fled to America.
1,000 of you already cowards ran to America. It's time.
Stupid people should wear signs, man. Stupid people should wear signs. They really should wear signs. Oh, come on. How stupid did they get? He got 4,000 comments in short. I'm sure he got plenty of comments from like-minded morons. My goodness. I mean, honestly.
Stupid people should wear signs.
For the rest of you to fight.
Neon bright so we can find a way to dodge their tanglement.
This is a message from Solomon Zimbabwe.
Avoid their chaos more. Say
Of the
less.
military wing.
Wear a sign, wear a sign. Save me from your twisted line. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Nada, nada, don't waste your time. Politicians dance and spin. Blatant lies with a practiced grin. Blame the moon, blame the stars. Blame the traffic or faulty cars.
Some South Africans.
You think they're 6, not 35. Playing games to stay alive. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Save me from your twisted line. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Nada, nada, don't waste your time. Celebrities with tails so tall. Lost my yacht, it's so small. It's hard being rich, don't you see? You're living in your fantasy.
Ubani lo thinta mama.
Ooh.
this. Drop this knob carry.
Yes, Obanilo, Otita Bapo, Bessie. June date. Deadline. Abahan. Bloody Afrikaners.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, just give him a Casa Lager and it'll all be over. Little Chibuku. He's not had enough Chibuku today. What an idiot. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, yeah, Denise, I haven't disclosed that information. So, yeah, it's not good. I had not disclosed that information. Yeah, about Jay Langton. Yeah, for those who don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So I take it that's being shared publicly now, Denise? People are sharing that publicly? Obviously you know about it. SMH says, I made a video regarding Army paper, but can I ask, please? My dad was a trooper for 1 year. Compulsory's got 4 papers, but he needs 6, but he doesn't. That doesn't really help me out. I don't know what papers you're talking about. All I can say is that you have to try to get with it. If you can't get it, then just do an affidavit and tell them that it's classified and they won't release it. Yeah. Yeah, he sings Johnny Clegg at the end, doesn't he? Jay Langton. She is one of the 59ers who came over last year on May 12th. She and her husband, Earl. Earl has been well known in the media. Jay and Earl are people I went down to visit in Birmingham, Alabama last year. And the first visit to refugees when I went there last year. I'm trying to see if I've got that here. I'm looking to see if... just a second here. Samsung 2025. Shoot. I don't have it here. Where are the rest of my videos from 2025? That's odd. I don't know where those pictures are. Have I lost them? Can't find a divorce decree of 38 years ago. I don't know the answer, Corey. All you can do is go to an attorney and tell them, do a statement. Yeah. Stuck on a farm, unable to qualify for self-defense, protect your family. Told our fears 7 months ago. We're still here. Says Paul. Hope Third is keeping a close eye on this in Dallas, the White House. Who's BBZ? RSC advised it, says Johan. Yeah, I got you. They advised it or they directed it. There's two different things. No, he's stupid. He's just making a video for attention, and he's going to wind up going to jail for it if they ever prosecute anybody. Yeah, an idiot. He is wearing a sign, EFF, exactly. Well, it doesn't even take them to fire weapons. We watch what happened with the EFF when they fire water cannons. They run. And when five Boriki show up, 5 Boer show up with, shorts on like Yan, wearing their feld shirts outside of primary school, they all run away. Yep. Yeah, it wasn't even a proper knob carry. It was just a stick, like an axe handle. Stupid people should wear signs, and that guy's one of them. Absolutely, one of them. So an hour from now, Jordan Hill Lewis is scheduled to speak to the nation. So I guess we'll cover that today. That eats up my afternoon, which I thought was going to be free. Yep. Corey said, okay, send Corey name address, ask him to send it to me. Heidi, I got to make sure I actually have contact with you. Yeah, no, I don't think you'll ever go to jail for Roshka. How's it going? Roshka, aren't you at work? You must be on lunch break. Oh. Shots fired. Oh, look at that. All he has is a knob carrying a big mouth. Yep. No, you don't need COVID vaccine cards. You don't need COVID vaccine to come to America. You don't need COVID. No, that's not required. No, you don't need COVID. No, you need MMR. You need hepatitis, but you don't need that. Purple Moon Dreamer. This is F. Becker, just on my official channel now. I'm sure you meant that's why the guy is a member of EFF. Didn't I say EFF? Did I say Freedom Front Plus? Ronaldo has a meeting, Debbie. He has a meeting. It's not still a thing, Holden. The scam has run its course. If you got Hendo's number, just have Hendo send it. Just do it through Hendo. Yep, last Dominic said, you've seen these guys on the border. Once the shots are fired, they run away. Yep. Hey, pizza party, hang in there. Oh, okay. You're not at work today, Broshka. Okay, well, I'm glad you're okay. I have the Tribune. Would anyone like me to read it? So he made the tribute public. I didn't know it was public. Okay, I'll read it. Denise just confirmed me that it was public, and then I will read it myself right here. Okay. Oh, sorry, Neff. I said Freedom from Plus. I meant Economic Freedom Fighters. Yeah, I must be the flu. Sorry. Yeah, you know I didn't mean that. Yeah, Ronaldo has a meeting, so he's probably prepping for the elections for all I know. Yeah, no, that's why we're not doing it. If Denise confirms that was published publicly, the tribute, then I will read it here. Just waiting for Denise to respond. Yeah, no, she's not doing well. Cancer's been tough. I last spoke to her about 3 weeks ago. It was published publicly. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so yeah. She was transferred to palliative care. Comfort, dignity, and quality of life rather than a cure. Her time is measured in days rather than weeks. He said he got to say goodbye to her while she still understood him and told her she doesn't have to hold on anymore. My dearest Jay, love you, live you. These words have always meant something special between us. I don't know if I could ever properly explain them to anyone else, but you never need an explanation. You simply understood. One of the things I've always loved most about us is that no matter what happens, you are the person I want to tell first. It doesn't matter whether it's something life-changing or something completely ordinary. When I started my new job, the only thing I could think about was coming to tell you how it went. Every success feels more meaningful when I can share it with you. Every challenge feels smaller when I can talk it through with you. You've always been my first thought and my favorite conversation. You're my best friend that I get to call my wife. I didn't know how many people get to experience that in life, but I know how fortunate that I am that I do. Through every success, every challenge, every ordinary day, and every extraordinary one, you've been the person I wanted beside me. You're not only the love of my life, but the person I most enjoy sharing it with. I cannot imagine a world without you in it because you make every world you touch better. You bring light and hope to people in a way that is difficult to describe. It is not something you try to do. It is simply who you are. People are undeniably better because of you. Your welcoming, larger-than-life personality has touched more lives than you will ever know. You have a gift for making people feel seen, valued, and accepted, whether they have known you for years or only just met you. They leave your presence a little happier, a little lighter, a little better than before. The impact you've had on people around you cannot be measured. It lives on in the friendships you have built, the kindness you have shown, and the countless lives you have changed simply by being yourself. I'm a better husband, a better father, and a better man because of you. When I look back on my life, the greatest blessing in it is not where I've lived, what I've accomplished, or what I've owned. It is that I got to walk through it with you. The memories we've made, the challenges we've faced, the laughter we've shared, and even the difficult days we endured together have all been meaningful because they were shared with you. Thank you for being my safe place. Thank you for believing in me when I struggled to believe in myself. Thank you for every conversation, every smile, every adventure, every sacrifice, every lesson, every moment of love. Most of all, thank you for being you. If I had a chance to do it all again, I would still choose you every single time. Forever your husband, your friend, your biggest fan, Errol. Yeah, it is a cruel world. Yeah. But she got to experience freedom, and for herself and her kids and her husband coming to America, well, the daily threats. You imagine having suffered that and worried about being murdered. It was a lovely tribute. They did inspire Alabama Heat. They inspired me. My trip to Alabama last year inspired me to make these trips around to meet South African refugees. That's what really did it. I didn't know Earl other than the interview I did with him. And then his trust in me, when we went down there and CNN paid for the flight, I took them to a baseball game, which was fantastic. They really enjoyed it. Just the two of them. It was a night out because they didn't get many nights out. We had a blast at the Birmingham Barons. And so, yeah, they inspired me to visit refugees and try to help on this side. They really did. And then, of course, CakeNet paid to take me up to Twin Falls and meet the Hutzenberg family, who just really, really are great people. And it just kind of spun out from there. And now I've been to over 30 meet and greets around the country. I mean, it's just crazy. Look at all the places I've been. And I've had a few sponsors that paid for some of the trips. Like I just mentioned, the Alabama trip. This is where Jay and Earl are. Was CNN. This was CakeNet. This is out of pocket. This I had a sponsor in Texas. This was out of pocket. This one was I had a sponsor here. All the rest of these were all out of my pocket. All the hotels, all the petrol, all the travel, everything. The flights. Yeah. So all those places. But there's still a lot of a country to explore and a lot of refugees to meet all over the country. New England was supposed to be next, but I've been ill, so I haven't gone there this week, which was the plan originally, was to go to New England this week, but I have been ill, so I haven't gone this week. Yeah, it's really sad. Yeah, she is in a proper hospital getting care now, and that's truly important. That'll make a difference. I don't know that she passed away today. No, I don't know that. She is in bad shape in the hospital. That's just a tribute that he made to her. I'm not staying away from Midwest, Ellen. There aren't flights there, man. I have to go through Chicago and pay more for the flights. I'm not staying away from Midwest. I went to Ohio. Ohio is the Midwest. I don't know where you can read it. Jay sent it, or Earl sent it to me. I haven't heard anything about the people who went to Alaska. That's news to me. Yeah, so an hour from now, we're going to have Jordan Hill Lewis on, so we'll see what happens there. Brenda says, Colonel Chris, you're working hard and wonderful person helping people. I try. Mostly try to get people the truth and, what's really happening in this world. So, yep. Hey, Antonino dear. How's it going, man? So the Springboks have named their squad for the Nations Tour. Let me find that. That was interesting. I wanted to see that. Let me see if I find that story. I want to cover that very quickly. Rugby Springboks. Here we go. Which one was it? Don't know which story it was now. I'm confused. There it is. So the props are Thomas Dutoy, Vokolo Ntukumkunu, Oxenche, Zach Borthen, Carl Lusati, Gerhard Steenkamp, and Boone Venter. So 1, 2, 3 of them are playing abroad. Hookers, Johan Grubelaar, Malcolm Marks, and under Hugo Venter, one of them is playing abroad. The locks are Lou Diager, Eben Etzebeth, Ronald Kia, and Ruben van Heerden. One of them is playing abroad. Loose forwards, Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon, Cameron Hanekem, Sia Khaleesi, Evan Ruiz, Vincent Chichuka, and Jasper Visa. Only one of those is playing abroad. Utility forwards, Peter Steph Dutoy, Franco Mostart, Riley Norton, Marco van Staden, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, and Kobus Visa. So 1, 2 of those are playing abroad. Scrum halves, Ambrose Papier, Herschel Yutgies, surprise there, Kobus Reinach, and Grant Williams. Only one of those is playing abroad. Fly halves, Monty Lubbock, Vusi Moyo, and Henri Pollard. One of them playing abroad. The centers are Damon De Allende, Andre Estevez, and Jesse Creel. 2 of them playing abroad. Outside in utility backs, currently Aronse, Afilia Fase, Kuhn Horn, Chesson Colby, Kane Moody, Edwin Fundameva, Yaku Williams, and Damon Willemse. See, only one of those playing abroad. That's Chesson Colby. That's the team for the Nations Tour. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens with the Springboks coming up. Probably about the same as yesterday, but not 100%. All right, you guys are welcome for the news today. Okay. Thank you, Colonel. You're always D-How up. What? I'm not sure what that means, D-How. Karen says, thank you, Earl and Jay, for inspiring lives of faith. I don't know them, but feel connected to be through this community. Thank you, Colonel, for bringing us together. Thoughts and prayers to them. Okay. Yep. Yeah, Hermanus, life goes past way too fast, man. I can't believe I'm not 22. I mean, where did it go? Where did it go? 22. 22, man. I would have been in 22. I was in Germany, man. It was like, flock of seagulls and, Sandra, I'll never be Maria Magdalena. You're a creature of the night. Or winter city side, snowflakes all around my head and in my face. I had no illusions that I'd ever catch a glimpse of summer's heat wave in your eyes. You did what you did to me. Now the rest is history. Here's my comeback on the road again. Things will happen when they can. It's easy when you're big in Japan. Big in Japan. Alphaville. Wow. Long time ago. Rock me like a hurricane. Scorpions, yeah. James says, I don't think you know how much you inspire in me and you keep us going. I don't think you know how much we appreciate. Well, thank you so much, James. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Andre Parlin. Here you go, buddy. Here you go. Yeah, he's having a tough time, Andre Parlin, lately. So, not his best performance of late. But the man he's money when you need him. Varoshka, you're welcome. Hey, Donica, what's going on? Yeah, well, I have my detractors. Apparently, the Sunnyside Prowler made another video and accused me of spreading misinformation. The fear merchant, is that what I was looking for? Hang on a second. That's the one I was looking for. I was looking for this receipt. There it is. How did I get in there? How did I miss that receipt? That's interesting. I was looking for that receipt the other day. Oh, it goes down here. So there you go. I found that receipt I was looking for. When do they play the next test? I think, is it this weekend? Hang on a second. I have that. I need to put that on my desktop so I have it. The schedule. Springboks. There it is. Here's the fixtures. So the next one. No, the next one's the 4th of July. They play England on the 4th of July. So I'll be covering that. England. That'll be my 4th of July. Yep. So they don't play till the 4th, and they play 11th, and they play the 18th. And yeah, so they'll be playing the England at Ellis Park on the 4th. On the 11th, they play Scotland at Loftus. On the 18th, they play Wales in Durban. So, yep. Then on the 8th of August, they're in Argentina. Then they're back in South Africa to play 3 games against New Zealand, 22nd, 29th, and the 5th of September. Then on the 12th of September, they're in the USA where they play New Zealand in Baltimore. I'll be at that game. Yep. Yep. So there you go. So no game this weekend. It's the 4th of July next game. Yep. He's not doing it? What time is he doing? 8 o'clock or 8:30? It says 8:30 is what it's scheduled for. Did they change it? It says he's doing it at 8:30. Our outlets look like they're scared. No, it looks like a face. Our outlets look like a face. I don't understand, Renee. You're saying receive a notification. It's scheduled for 8:30 in 47 minutes. On the 4th, it's like at 5:40 or something like that in the afternoon. South Africa time, 5:40. South Africa time, yep. Well, it says 8:30 here, so they better figure it out. Real blue dude. A lot of posts online in regards to cost of hospitals, medical insurance. Some posts about families being bankrupt as bills go to millions. Where are you talking about? Where is this at? What are you talking about? Who's bankrupt? I don't know anybody in my neighborhood bankrupt. Are you talking about America? Are you talking about the UK? So is it on X? Okay. Some people already attacking him in the chat. Was it on X? I didn't look to see on X for the DA. Let me look and see.
Guys, hi.
This is the one leading the
I just
terror.
watched a press briefing from the Minister of Police and other government representatives. And I must say I'm very disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. I think our government has a serious communication problem. Maybe it's not a communication problem. Maybe it's just an embedded... I don't know what to call it. I don't know. But the government of South Africa literally just went on TV and expressed that they're ready for the 30th, which is fine. And
Judge Wilson, what's the statute of limitations?
In the last 2 years, you've been blamed for...
That's that idiot.
The men who preyed on them were...
Anyway, I can't. So it's 8:30 is what I've got. Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to be an SABC. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, folks. Martin says, I spoke to someone today. Why are all the FD people so negative? We have hope and our troubles never stop. Now we just have a greater hope. I don't know who's negative, Martin. It's the people who've come to America. Very few of them are negative. Some are. Most are pretty happy. So, excuse me. Yeah, I got 8:30. So, all right, I'll look to try to cover it at 8:30. All right. I don't know what the real blue dude is talking about. Can you follow up there? I'm waiting. Yeah, it's on their YouTube channel and Facebook pages. Yeah. Oh, I'm not in their WhatsApp group. Bread in the oven. Well, there you go. Cool beans. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this stream up, folks. So you've heard from that guy. 7 weeks under review isn't long because a lot of people have been under review since before January. Well, thank you, Annie. I appreciate it. Oh, the American healthcare system is family structured around a for-profit model driven by private insurance, pharmaceuticals, and corporate. Actually, that's not true. You're here to troll, I see. No, it's not. The American health system doesn't exist. There is no healthcare system, so that's a fantasy. There are private hospitals. There are Catholic charity hospitals or Lutheran hospitals. There are for-profit hospitals. There are state-run hospitals. There are federal government-run hospitals. There are Veterans Administration hospitals. There are military hospitals. There's no system. There's no system, and it's not run by pharmaceuticals. No, see, you're just here to troll. So you can spot a troller when they show up. Yep, so there you go. That's it. We're done with that. We're not playing with the trollers tonight. Have a good one, folks. I'll see you hopefully for Jordan Hill Lewis in a little bit. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here.